For Louisiana versus all y'all, Jarrett Roser here with Sterlington senior linebacker Luke Handy, a part of that 15-0 state championship run for the Panthers in Class 3A, wrapping up with one of the most memorable state championship games of this season. And we're going to hit on all that, really, kind of the process to get there and then how it all shook out. Luke, how does 15-0 state champion sound?
It sounds great. It still don't make sense. I think back to it a lot and just realize, how lucky we were to stay healthy and, how well everything turned out for us.
What was special about this group to have that type of run? It's something that even with 9 state championships now every year, few teams get through and complete a full 15-0 season. To do something like that obviously takes a lot of things going the right way, both in terms of y'all's execution and some things bouncing y'all's way. What stood out about y'all's group, and when did you realize it had a chance to be that type of a run?
The thing that stood out most for us is our chemistry together, how well we play together. Because, we don't have anybody that's got stars. We don't have anyone with D1 offers yet. So we're underlooked, but then we get out there and the way we just mesh together and play together is the reason that, we were able to do what we did. And it kind of hit me once we were able to take down Madison Prep in the 3rd round. And after that, I was like, we have a real good shot at this, and I think we can go do it.
I think there were a lot of eyes on that matchup, that quarterfinal matchup with y'all and the reigning state champions, Madison Prep. Y'all both had fantastic years to that point. Y'all a top seed, and again, they're reigning champs. And it went real back and forth and was real tight late. What were kind of the later stages of that game like as both teams are kind of taking their best shots and either team's season could end at any moment?
It was definitely crazy. It was the atmosphere was insane because they brought a lot of fans, and we obviously had a lot of fans. And you start thinking, like, once it gets close and it was going into overtime, you're like, this could be my last game ever. And, we got fortunate and were able to stop them 4 times in a row, and then it just took us one play to get that last touchdown in. But I knew once we got the stop that, we kind of had it bagged up. I didn't think they were going to be able to hold our run game, especially for 4 plays in a row. So once we got those stops, I knew that, it was on to round 4 from there.
How much did that night help further prepare y'all for what was waiting in the dome when Union would get another shot at y'all and they made some huge plays and took leads?
It helped us a lot because they had a bunch of athletes. They were probably the biggest team that we played and the most versatile team that we played. Their quarterback, Zion Chris, was probably the best athlete. Him and Trey Holly were the best ones we've seen all year. And it definitely prepared us because we knew what we were getting with Union. And so just having that, dogfight under our belt definitely helped us for the dogfight in the dome.
Sterlington hadn't been in that situation since 2017, so some of y'all may have been there for that game, but as far as being there and representing the program and playing for the title, it was a first. As you walk into that building and realize, this is my last high school game and it's under these huge lights in this giant stadium, what are those kind of sights and emotions and feelings like walking in?
Well, I was a freshman. Our class was freshman when we went. And so we kind of had that experience, I guess you could say, but, none of us really played much. If anything, we were all on special teams. And, it's cool. It's something that just takes your breath away as soon as you walk in. And having that little bit of experience and, knowing how to do the trip down there, knowing how to act when you get in the hotel, we were already, we already knew about that. So we were even more prepared going into the dome this time. And, we had lost our freshman year, so we know what it felt like to lose, and we didn't want that to happen, especially with our last game. So I feel like we were a lot more prepared. We won the road trip. We won the, staying in the hotel. We did all that. We did all the little things right to get us prepared to play for, this year. And we knew it was our last game, so we couldn't go out in a sad way.
People talk about kind of the challenges of trying to beat the same team twice when it's 2 good teams, and y'all had beaten Union Parish in the regular season and then have to face them again with the state championship on the line. What was y'all's mentality in dealing with that, knowing that they were going to be hungry as ever? Not that either side of that matchup is ever not hungry, even in the regular season. But sort of pros and cons of playing a team you've beaten, but knowing that they're as familiar with you as you are with them.
I definitely think that's the hardest thing to do in football is to beat a team twice. And it definitely has its advantages and disadvantages. And for advantages, it's you know what you're cutting, you know what you're getting. You're familiar to the offense. Game planning isn't as serious as it would be, but it's just something you're familiar to, and you can look back on the film from earlier in the year because, like, when you have someone like Trey Holly, you don't have to switch up much. So we knew we were going to get the same thing. But its disadvantages is, you may go in and think we beat them once, we're going to beat them again, or it's too easy and you don't prep hard enough. But yeah, it's definitely the hardest thing to do. And I think, we handled it well, and we still didn't play our best football, and we were able to pull out the win. So I think that's just the best thing for us.
You've mentioned a couple of times the type of athlete and competitor that Trey Holly is. As a guy that is out there for 4 quarters or this season 8 quarters trying to slow that guy down, what are, the particular challenges that he poses? And we saw this time out, he lines up wide and they throw a long pass to him. With the game on the line, they move him to a wildcat quarterback. And so they're trying to do anything they can to get him the ball all over the field. How challenging is that for you guys as a defense to slow it down?
It's very challenging because you got to have multiple eyes on him at all times. And I think his best asset is his ability to make cuts and his vision because, we were a fast defense, so stringing out outside was what we were trying to do. But we'd get there and he'd cut back inside, and it was just very hard to stop him. And when he'd be out wide, he'd one-on-one, and you had to have a safety over the top, and sometimes the safety's a little late and you're not there, as you saw with the long touchdown pass he had. It's just something that you can't really prepare for because you can't stop him. You can just only hope to slow him down. And luckily we slowed him down just enough to pull out the win.
I wanted to ask you too about, you guys have a great group of running backs that all played their role both in that game and throughout the season. And so y'all would have been working against them as a defense during practice. Certainly in the off season heavily, and then during each week. What can you say about that group, the full stable that offense had to work with, and what stood out about each of them, from a couple seniors that were huge all the way down to a sophomore that played a really big role for y'all?
I can't say enough about it. I've never seen a more talented running back class, like a group of guys. And you can't just prepare for one guy because they're all different. Bryce Lark is, the bigger fullback, and he's got a little sneaky speed to him, and you're not going to be able to just take him down with one guy. And Ramajay Hatfield is our other fullback who's got insane speed, and he's hard to take down as well. So those are 2 guys. You got your bruiser, and you got your guy that may be, your longer guy. And then we get back to our running backs, and we knew Tremel, what he had in him. It's just nobody else did. And he's your outside guy, your speed guy. Once he gets in the open field, there's no catching him, and he's probably the hardest one to bring down. I don't know how he does it, and I don't ask him. I don't question it, but it's just that Calvin blood, And then JaKeldrick Miller, he came a big force this year, and having Tremel behind him pushed Jay to work even harder, which only helped him. It didn't hurt him at all. And he battled some injuries, but he was able to overcome them, and he was, he came up big so many times for us this year. And he's another one. They don't ever go down. It's going to take more than one person to get him. And, I just can't say enough without them. And having Mason Lawhon do what he did and run the offense to a T, that's just what made us succeed.
Those guys, with y'all down in the fourth quarter, take their turns and work their way downfield and put y'all back ahead. And then it's y'all trying to stop Trey and company on that Farmers offense one last time. And immediately they throw deep, and it's this controversial, reviewable play that could have been a huge swing. Take me through that moment and just as you're waiting on an official review, what y'all are thinking about and talking about on the sideline.
So it went down, and I'd seen it, and, immediately going through my head, I'm watching, the replay and everything. And personally, I'm going to be a little biased. I didn't think he survived the ground, obviously, but at the same time, in the back of my head, I was like, all right, well, there may not be enough evidence to overturn this because they had ruled it a catch. So there may not be enough evidence. So I'm going through my head thinking, what they're going to be on, what plays they could run, all this other stuff. And luckily it worked our way, and that just took the momentum away. And then, that turned into, maybe Coach Spat, arguing about it or thinking about it too much. And they ended up not using their 2 timeouts they had left. And next thing you know, you look up and there's 5 seconds on the clock. And we're like, all right, triple cover Trey. Yeah. We got 5 seconds. Don't let them get in the end zone. And then we'll have state championship. And, it happened to work our way. But I just think that was the turning point where we knew that, we had it in the bag.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you could tell pretty quickly after that, if you could taste it, okay, when that didn't go their way, that it was over, because things really did kind of spiral away from them at that point. And then you're right, it was the same for me. I look at the clock, and at one point it's like a minute left still, and then I look again, and it's the final seconds, and they're kind of scrambling a little bit. As those last few seconds do go off and you see 000, state champions, what are the emotions of finishing your high school career on top?
It was surreal. It was immediate chills. I start running to the sideline, and I look to my left, and I see my good buddy John Barr, the receiver who was out there for the Hail Mary defense. And we just jumped in each other's arms, and I cried my eyes out. And I don't cry at all, and I cried my eyes out. I left all my tears in the dome. There was just nothing like it. I collapsed and just soaked it all in, looking up at the Caesars logo, all the fans cheering, and there's just nothing like it.
What stands out about the job that Coach Doty and his staff have done with y'all? He's a guy that obviously came over and had some state championship game experience at St. Mary's and gets to y'all and has turned y'all into one of the premier programs in your classification each year, and again completes a rare 15-0 state championship season. Just kind of tell me the way they work with y'all and what stands out most about them that enables to get the most out of you guys and have that level of success.
I definitely think it's the game plan. Those guys will finish a game on Friday. Those guys are up there all night on Friday night, examining the film, doing all this stuff. Then they'll get there Saturday. Then we'll watch film together. And immediately after we leave watching film, they're already getting game plan ready for the next game, and they're getting tendencies, and they're trying to pick up on things. And seeing that stuff, the overtime that they do and seeing the faith that they have in us makes you just work even harder. And, we have the same practices we do. Everything's a routine with them. And it's pretty cool to watch and see the group of adults like that believe in you, and they can do it. So it just makes you work even harder. And I think, the legacy that, Dell Ashley and Coach Thompson have left on this, it has helped Coach Doty to kind of see how it is, and it's made him even that much better as a coach. And, we just can't thank him enough. Us players, we think we have the best coaching staff in Louisiana.
So what's next for you, man, as you kind of wind down your senior year of school and everything, and then start to look at what's ahead of you from there after graduation? What are some of the conversations and decisions that you're having to deal with?
It's pretty tough right now because, I have a few small school offers here and there, and I'm not quite sure what I want to do yet. I don't want to give up football, that's for sure, but I also don't know if it's, in the future where I can make it work. So I'm either going to decide to those, or I may just, stay home at ULM, go to school. But it's definitely going to be a tough decision that I got to unfortunately make soon. I can't keep pushing it off, but, we'll see what happens.
Well, you had bigger business ahead of you until just a couple of weeks ago. You had to focus on that before you started focusing on what's after it.
I did. I had to make sure I got the ring before I started to think about – couldn't think too far ahead.
For any of those schools that may be kind of looking for some more spots to fill and trying to get a handle on who you are and what you bring to a team and a program, what would be what you would want them to know about you? Who is Luke Handy? What does he bring to that group anywhere that he may land?
I would say my versatility, because I'm undersized and I played linebacker for my whole career. So if I was able to get a good opportunity, I'd be in the secondary. And I have a little experience at safety. I had to play it a little bit last year, but I don't know. I just think my heart's always been my biggest thing. I've always been able to, in my mind, I've always been smarter. I haven't been as athletic as everybody that's out on the field, but I've always had it up here, which has helped me to be, the player that I was. And that's about it. I mean, I just you gotta go out there and give it your all.
No doubt. Well, Luke, you guys certainly did that all fall and were rewarded for it just a couple weeks ago. And I appreciate you taking some time during Christmas break to chat a little bit about it.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
You got it. Again, he's Luke Handy, senior linebacker, senior standout for that Sterlington State Championship team that finished 15-0 and beat Union Parish 26-24 in the Superdome to finish it all off. And for Louisiana versus all y'all, Jarrett Roser.